Welcome back, ladies and gents, friends, degens. Is anybody still out there? I think there's a few people left on CT. Few diehards that just won't quit. A few gluttons for punishment like us out there. Welcome to the stream, guys. Back again here with more crypto news. We're gonna take a look at the markets. Everything is unsurprisingly pretty beat up. Markets are still super scared. Nobody's got any idea what's going on with the war in Iran, the war in Ukraine, Taiwan, the overall economies. I guess inflation's coming back. It's an absolute shit show, and I think it probably is going to get worse before it gets better. But we'll be here live streaming with you guys through all of it, trying to give you some perspective on what's happening. In the meantime, what's going on, gents? How are we feeling today?
Decent.
Positive.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Very positive still.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, we're alive and well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we have a roof over our head. We can eat. Family's okay for the most part. Can't complain too much here.
Damn, that's right. Gotta take the wins where you can get them.
Yeah.
Overall, the business, if you're unfamiliar with Acquire.Fi, what we do, we are the leading M&A platform in Web3. We've got over 300 different assets across our marketplace and private books, helping out founders get exits and growing companies to work on hitting their goals, hitting their numbers, reaching the IPO status via acquisitions. We also run one of the larger OTC desks, helping out with all sorts of illiquid assets. So on the business front, things have actually still been all right. OTC desk has been a bit slow, as you can imagine. People pretty cautious about deploying capital at the moment. But M&A continues to be red hot. One of the first stories we're going to cover here is a big announcement of an M&A deal that we just helped close that went live, I think 2 days ago, or maybe it was last Friday. But lots going on in the background. Business is good. We're very thankful for that. But in terms of the markets and the overall crypto news, it's pretty bleak.
Yeah, I think, it's part of the cycle. We are definitely in a bear market. And during bear markets are boring, quite slow and whatnot. If we look at the Benner cycle, this has been a pretty decent guide to kind of what to expect of, market expectations. So coming into 2026, we already knew that this is like the years of good times, high prices, time to sell stocks and values of all kinds. I would say it hit it pretty well. The top of the market
just a little bit.
Yeah, like top of Bitcoin pretty much came in October last year. Equities have pretty much topped out in January. And so, this was the year for profit taking because, things have exploded quite crazy in the past year or two. So, I'm looking at equities. As you can see, S&P is on a bit of a downtrend here since pretty much beginning of January. It's been trying to range and consolidate, which has failed. I tried to consolidate right here. It failed again. And then we just recently lost these lows. This is the low from last year, November. And so we pretty much broke this entire range now, which means we probably have to start exploring lower prices. We're below the 200 SMA, so now that's going to be a major resistance. And there's a bit of a window here where I'm thinking 38.2. This is generally what we always look for. Your 38.2 for stops. This is typically where price is going to come down to park itself and see whether or not if the trend is still up. And this is pretty much just measuring from those lows from last year. So this is kind of the bigger range now we're going to be measuring. And, I think a 30% retracement wouldn't be out of the question. I mean, we're already kind of on the way there. No signs of any bullish structure. I was talking about it last week where I was like, okay, we are kind of deckhead bouncing back and forth. But until we start getting actual W's, some double bottoms or some kind of bullish structure, I wasn't very confident on the bull trend coming back to life yet. And then also, if you look on a weekly chart, that's pretty defined, weekly double top. And then on the weekly, there's really no signs of any kind of like recovery yet. No signs of like structure. So for me, I'm just kind of targeting this 30.2 area. And then ultimately, if we do have to come down lower, we do have some gaps below. And, 78.6, 61.8 reload zones are typically what I always like to look for. But that is quite a bit of a sell-off. So I think realistically that 30.2 would be more reasonable. Maybe we see some back and forth. I think right now the market's like really watching how this war resolves. Trump is clearly manipulating the market with the ceasefires and then threatening to bomb them and then back and forth, blah, blah, blah. And so the market's going to be extremely volatile while this is going on. And so any really big moves that we see, I personally wouldn't trust it. I think really you got to see and wait for these like consolidations to kind of give you a better frame. So yeah, I mean, NASDAQ kind of same idea. We lost those lows. A lot of tech stocks have been selling off since like last year, really in November, really. And then even pretty much beginning of January, it's just been kind of straight down. So, a nice little flush in the market going into summer, clean it all up, sell in May, walk away type idea. And then coming into the midterms later, like September, October, that's where I think maybe the markets will start to kind of, form some structure and maybe rebase itself, and we can go off into the New Year's with a bit of a positive rally. But until then, I think we just have to wait, let the market, consolidate, see how this stuff resolves. Obviously, if the war stuff does like stop and like gets resolved soon, then I do think maybe the market could see some life coming back, and we should expect to see some dead cat bounces back and forth. So that's what I'm seeing in equities right now. I know some people are interested in oil. We told everybody to buy oil pretty much in the beginning of February. So anybody who bought pretty much this consolidation, that nice little double bottom consolidation, would have done pretty well. And just seasonally, right? You buy in the middle of February, you sell by May, you make money 9 out of the past 10 years. That's the expression. That's the saying. And then even if you look at seasonality charts of oil, it's usually like mid-February to May. So it's kind of coincidental that they start this war exactly as the oil season starts. Maybe it's not a coincidence. I don't know. Believe what you want to believe, but we came right into a short reload zone. So if we're measuring from the top to the bottom of this range, short reload zones where markets come to die. And wouldn't you know, we come right into it, get rejected, come back into it, rejected, come back into it, rejected. So it's having some troubles trying to break through there. And we got a big double top now confirmed. So maybe oil does have to chill out, and we might have to see some retracements, maybe hopefully back into the reload zone. We are slowly getting closer and closer to, end of the season. And a lot of this move was kind of just based on the war stuff, really, I would say. So if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed, then we should expect to see higher oil prices. If it gets resolved and opens up, everything goes back to normal, then I do expect oil to kind of flatten out, hopefully come back into the reload zone and just kind of go sideways for a bit. But right now, I don't really have a trade. There's no trade here. Wouldn't really do much there. What else do people want to look at? I think people want to look at metals, so we can look at gold. I think gold's probably the more popular one.
Gold got absolutely wrecked.
Yes. So pretty much the hedging trade was oil. As oil kind of flew up, gold started taking a hit. If you look at oil, if you look at gold, like in a year, like we went up quite a bit in just a year's time, like a nice big fat double on a huge commodity. That's not really normal. And so a retracement is healthy. I think it's perfectly normal. We did try to break out here, but unfortunately we did fail as like the war stuff kind of pursued. And then, you get your double tops come in, things kind of break down. We kissed the 200 SMA yesterday. And pretty much this move was on that announcement of Trump being like, look, we're going to like stop ceasefire for 5 days. We're talking to Iran. And then instantly the like 2 hours later, Iran's like, what are you talking about? And then the market China got like scattered. But as you can see, 200 SMA, 88.6 level, sniper fib level. That's where all the institutions probably picked it up. These fibs are very fun to use if you can learn them. And then even back here, that's kind of where that last consolidation was. That W is right there, nice defined W, little gap right there, cheeky gap. And so all they really did was just push it down into a level, and then they cranked it right back up. I don't think this is the beginning of a bull market. If we start creating some W's, though, then that would start getting me excited. But at the moment, we're just still kind of in a downtrend here, as you can see. But we are in the reload zone now. We did have some objectives filled. Some bull support did show up. So at this point, just wait for the consolidation, wait for some bullish structure, wait for those nice defined W's, and then you can have a trade. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the metal markets looks exactly the same, so we don't have to go over those. Bitcoin and ETH really hasn't done much. Like, I'm actually surprised how well it's holding up, despite like a lot of the markets kind of getting wrecked. The thing about Bitcoin, for example, we pretty much got rejected on this 38.2 for stop level twice now. So, the whole dead cat bounce theory, 38.2s is typically where it comes to stop. So now the fact that we hit it twice and it hasn't like been able to break out shows me that, the bulls are not as strong as it seems. But at the same time, the bears aren't really pushing it further down either. Like, we do have some bearish divs now in the MACD. But as you can see, it keeps like ranging here. And so we're just kind of like stuck in this little range until we really either break above that high, or we break below that low there. So longer the sideways consolidation, the better usually. But if equities really start falling off here in the risk on markets, then I don't know if Bitcoin can keep rallying, but maybe. Let's see. So right now, again, we're just sideways. I'm still in my longs here. I have a 60K long as well that I'm still just kind of watching. And then same thing with ETH. ETH broke out a little bit harder than Bitcoin, but instantly gets stopped at 38.2. So nothing more than just a dead cat bounce. But at least we're still holding within the little W structure here. And so I think we're just sideways, stuck, waiting for consolidation. We are in a reload zone, so this is where the bottom should come in if we are to try to break out. But as you can see, we got quite a bit of resistance to kind of break through. So it's just a matter of waiting. And then for most part,
it's so bad, to be honest.
Sorry?
I don't think this zone is that bad, to be honest. Like, we're in the same zone.
This is the accumulation zone. It's a good place.
Yeah, we're in the same zone as Trump got elected.
Yeah, it really hasn't done much since. It's just chilling. I want to show you the weekly charts because the weekly is actually starting to look a little bit more interesting to me. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't notice this, but I always talk about these weekly double bottoms, right? Unfortunately, this one failed back here, but if we can start curving up, so we got pretty much half of it going on. If we can start coming back up and get that nice clean W breakout, then I do think that we could expect higher objectives. We got all these CME gaps above us as well. Those are going to eventually need to be filled. And so as this market is just kind of sideways consolidating, we're slowly building potentially a double bottom on the weekly here. And we already have a bullish divergence on the MACD. So that's a good sign, especially on a weekly. We're quite oversold, right? And so there should be like a natural movement of, some bullish trends here. We've been too bearish for so long that all the momentum signal is showing that there's more bullish strength than it's kind of presenting. And so I think if we do get that double bottom breakout, do expect to see at least a little bit of a rally, at least to maybe 90K is kind of what I'm hoping for. At least get those gaps filled. I don't think we're like planning to try to break out to all-time highs from here, because I still think we really got to wait till next year, usually 6 months before the halving kind of idea. But at least a little bit of a counter rally to these levels, at least 50% of this range. It's not out of the question. So alts for the most part pretty boring, sideways, really nothing to do. I've just been sitting in my positions waiting to either get stopped out or let the positions hit their targets. But for the most part, they're just sideways consolidating, just like Bitcoin and ETH. Probably won't see anything really happen until Bitcoin or ETH really breaks out. Or you could be one of these ones like Dusk, for example, double bottoms, reload zones, bullish divergence, oversold conditions, breakout. And then you can do little, swing trades. If you're just doing a 2-to-1, it's already halfway there. I generally look for doubles, so, you can try to hit a little bit higher there. So, stuff like that. Some of these other names have been pretty boring, just not really moving, just kind of sideways, sad. So I don't know. Tau is really doing well. I did miss that bottom there, unfortunately, but as you can see, there are some names that are trying to break out. You really just have to go through them. Try to find those double bottoms. Look at the bottom of the range. Look for the bullish divergences. The spiel. So, yeah.
I think to be honest, I'm pretty bullish on crypto at the moment. Well, like everything is starting to bottom out. There's nothing to sell anymore. It's like everyone has bottom.
Yeah, like how much more selling is there? I mean, I don't think there's much left. Like most people I talk to are like not even in crypto anymore. So.
Oh wow.
So I don't know. Never underestimate the bear market. It likes to give us some nice lull us into I can't get any worse, and then bam, bottom drops out again even further. I think traditionally the Bitcoin reaches its bottom between 15 and 18 months after the previous high, which if that was October of last year, probably got a ways to go before we see it. Doesn't mean it can't pop up and bounce around in between.
Yeah. So usually 6 months before the halving is when the bottom usually kicks in for like alts, Bitcoin, everything. Plus, we need to still see a 70 to 80% retracement, which we haven't gotten. So that 70-80% retracement is going to be around that 50 to 40K. So in this little lower region. So we're not really far off. Like we do need another stab, one more lower. And Bitcoin loves to bottom after like a really big like capitulation game. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Fool the kids, trick us to long here, and then just bam,
liquidate it.
Yeah, liquidate it. But I mean, we're still a little bit of a way, so But don't get me wrong, you can still see counter trend rallies in between that. So that's kind of what I'm betting on here, really. Just a small little counter trend rally, but we may not even get it, to be honest. So yeah, let's see.
Patience, everyone. More patience.
Yes. Patience, follow your setups.
Yeah, I mean, always keep an eye on the markets and what's going on. But, times like this are where get out and hustle. Whatever extra, pick up a couple extra hours at work, get a side hustle going, whatever it is to make some extra cash. So you can start, whether you want to DCA throughout the whole bear market, if you want to try and time things closer to the halving, the next halving event, and get larger blocks built in, then maybe in the 40 to 50K range. Now's the time to get that cash reserves built back up.
Yes.
So that you can take advantage. 4 years from now, you'll be sitting on a nice, healthy nest egg when it's all pumped after you bought throughout the whole bear market.
Yeah. Don't gamble it away right now. This is not the environment to be trying to go heavily long. So.
100x leverage, baby. Now's the time to be doing poly market bets on the administration's war decisions and making $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sports betting going on right now. The March Madness season, NHL playoffs are coming up. There's all sorts of stuff. So all the sports bettors are still their degeneracy has not been hindered.
Still going hard.
Oh yeah.
There's always going to be gamblers.
Indeed. Speaking of, have you got anything else you wanted to cover?
No, that's it for the charts. Unless you guys want me to look at something, but
no worries here. Let me find. So this is kind of one of the stories that Andrew had brought up there just recently. Major market manipulations going on. Major market manipulations always going on, but the blatancy of it and the scale has the frequency all seem to be turned up to 11 more and more. It seems every election we just get more. The nonsense from before just gets taken to a new level, to a new level. It's almost like the frog being boiled in water type of scenario. If they can't ratchet it up to 100 day one. So each administration just takes it to another level, a little bit higher. And they can just get away with more and more bullshit. But 5 minutes before President Trump announced the halt to the attack on Iran, someone placed a $1.5 billion bet on stocks going up and dumped $192 million in oil in 5 minutes. Those trades were 4 to 6 times larger than anything else anyone took in the entire market. Whoever did this was not guessing. Risked $1.5 billion on a hunch. If you will remember, the ceasefire lasted all for about 12 hours. And in that time, they were able to make a just absolute killing. So this is not the first time that there's been a White House insider capitalizing on all sorts of moves over the last, year or so. There has been a poly market whale that has just been nailing, a little too coincidentally, 5 minutes, an hour before a major world economic event is announced or a war kicks off or something like that, have been absolutely cashing in. It's I don't know what to say at this point. What can you do about it? But this is the state of things at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I said this before. This is scam season. It's been 4 or 6 months now. Or when did Trump get elected again? Was it last year?
A year plus ago.
Yeah. So scam season all the way from there.
I mean, it's been that way for the last 3 decades. My entire life. It's just the number of scams and the frequency of scams and the blatancy. They're not even trying to hide it really anymore. It's just in your face, nonstop scams. Yeah. And then gaslighting you into thinking that you're racist or something for noticing that there's problems with the economy and with our government robbing us blind.
Yeah.
So
it's crime season, baby. It's crime season.
Good times. Well, economic news, the big one since last time we talked was the interest rates. Pretty much nothing happened as expected. Rates remained the same. Rounding out the rest of the month here, so 24th, we got not a whole lot going on between now and the end of the month. CPI comes out tomorrow. Crude oil inventories, jobless claims. So a few things going on here before the end of the month. But I don't think we have anything massive until, is there anything, what's going on? What do we got in April here? Economic wise, non-farm payroll, retail sales, another jobless claims, Easter holiday, CPI. So no Fed rate decision until is May the next one or June?
I'm not too sure on that.
Might be June. Checking in on world. It's so interesting to see now how the world news events and poly market top trending bets all line up. We've got NCAA tournament. We've got the Iran war, oil, DHS shutdown, Fed rate hike in 2026. Wow. Overall, are we going to get a rate hike this year? What are we saying? Yes. You're hitting yes. 5x on a yes if we get a rate cut by the end of the year. Wow, that's amazing. Most people are betting no rate cut before the end of this year. Ooh, I don't know. That might be one worth taking there.
Wow.
What's 5,000 makes you 5K. Roll the dice, Jan.
All in. All in.
All in? Oh, you crazy.
Put some of that treasury money to work.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Well, I think the biggest news on the Acquire.Fi front, we talked about this at the beginning of the feed here. Katana network just launched last Friday. Katana is, I believe, a subnet for Polygon. Is that right?
I think it's our own layer 2.
Yeah, it's its own layer 2, but it's definitely connected to the Polygon ecosystem. Over the last year or so, we've been working with IDEX on getting acquired, and very happy to announce that has been successfully acquired by Katana Network. IDEX is now Katana Perps, adding to a huge piece to the Katana ecosystem there. Congrats to both teams involved there. It was, as many of these large M&A deals are, a long journey. These things take time. When you're dealing with, large companies, L1s, L2s, things of that nature, getting all of the legal in place, accounting, audits, etc. But from the first chat that these guys had together, we noticed it was a very good fit from the beginning. Teams got along very well, and just aligned on priorities and value adds. So very happy to see this coming to a conclusion. Wishing all the best for both the Katana L2 as a whole, as well as IDEX, now Katana Perps, on that chain there. I wish both teams nothing but success. Hope this this acquisition continues to be fruitful for both teams, and great things ahead in the future for both. Thanks for having us be a part of it. As always, there is a lot of moving parts with an M&A deal like this. Always great experience for us to go and work with teams that are very open and flexible to working with each other. There are often unforeseen things that pop up. And it's always a learning experience for us as well. So anyways, overall, great experience. Happy to have been a part of it, and wishing both those teams nothing but success going forward in the future.
I think from a strategy perspective, this is very good for Katana itself. Like having Perplex itself makes a lot of profit and usually a lot of revenue, and that will go straight to the token. So it's a good flywheel, to be honest. So very eager to see what will happen. Definitely on
absolutely. And definitely if you're looking for points farms out there, keep an eye on one. Nothing officially been announced yet, but I would imagine that's the route that all of these perp dexes have taken. So keep an eye out there. Might be an opportunity to do a little farming. What else we got in the news here? Crypto trading firm BlockFills files for bankruptcy. This was a big one just a little over a week ago. But since the last time we streamed here, BlockFills now reporting they only have $50 to $100 million in assets, with $500 million on the books. Nice little 10x deficit there. Jan, I know you were chatting about this when this first broke. Any thoughts on the BlockFills bankruptcy here?
I don't know. I've seen these so many times. Like it's going to be a very long process for the liquidators. No one will win here. And basically, I'm not sure what actually happened here, and if they actually traded for a while, like without any money. But very sad to see. And I do think more and more people or more companies like giving yield will file for similar things. I think I saw Banker. Was it Banker today that filed like, hey, they got hacked and they can't move on. So be very careful out there, man, or people.
Yeah, they're blaming it on a $75 million market crash in February, saying that that's when they started freezing client withdrawals. Typically, though, these problems run a lot deeper than that. There's not just one event that all of a sudden everything was going perfectly and, oh, there's this one black swan event and now the whole company's bankrupt. We only had, 10% of what we're supposed to have on the books. That these things often run deeper. But yeah, I think it points out a larger issue with a lot of these yield-bearing type of platforms. Number one comment on any of these posts, as always, is, not your keys, not your crypto. Be careful where you're putting your money. If it sounds like it to be true, probably is.
Even what was it? Resolve, the stablecoin there, they got wrecked too.
Resolve Labs.
Always in a bear market, man. This shit always happens.
Yep. DPEGs plunged 74% after a $25 million exploit. Compromised key-enabled hacker to illegally mint $80 million in USR tokens, causing stablecoin to lose its dollar peg. That will happen.
Yeah.
Wasn't this on Morpho, by the way?
Yeah, there was on a bunch of places. So,
but we see again, like when AI becomes more and more like better, this is gonna be like the norm. So the question becomes like, hey, what is any more safe?
Well, USDC seems to be the option that the institutions are taking. USDC hits all-time supply high, 55 billion, according to Token Terminal here, and a lot of that is being driven by flight to safety and institutions, large funds, et cetera, trusting USDC as a regulated, stablecoin over Tether. In fact, I thought this was a pretty wild stat here. 64% adjusted trading volume is captured by USDC, flipping Tether for the first time since 2019. Again, just kind of showing where in times like this, people are ultra conservative, very cautious about deploying capital, and looking for the safest bets they can find. And Tether apparently is not that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very skeptical, but that's just me.
It's good to be
skeptical. Of USDC or Tether?
Crypto.
Tether,
yeah. It's almost one of those too big to fail type of situations. Now they have so much money, and they make so much.
That's what they said about FTX. That's what they said about Luna. Nothing's ever too big to fail.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, if the U.S. government's going to step in and bail them out, and they're going to say,
I don't think they would.
I don't know if they could use it to get control of Tether and bring the largest stablecoin under their control. I think they might.
How do we know it's not?
They just frame it as like, too much of the U.S. This will affect the U.S. economy too much if we let Tether depeg and fall, and so we're gonna bail them out. But that means we get control over XYZ things that they're doing, and we can blah 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 blah, and then just becomes Fed coin.
True. I'm more excited to see like JP Morgan stablecoin fail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Seeing these central banks trying to create a stable coin, and then North Korea's like, oh, hey, what's going on over here?
Isn't that's a great Rick and Morty episode? He destroys the entire Galactic Empire by just crashing their currency.
Yeah. So that would be funny to see. Hope I don't get killed for that.
Oh. I think you're probably at the end of a very long list of people above you, Andrew.
We're at the bottom.
S&P going 24/7 as Dow Jones, the S&P Dow Jones Indices licensed the index to Hyperliquid for perpetual future contracts, now running 24/7. I love a top comment by Coin Terminal here. Great, now you can lose money 24/7.
We were already doing that anyways.
Yeah,
but I think this is a little bit bearish for crypto. Like we're gonna see Hyperliquid and other dexes going from like only crypto to all these TradFi shits.
Yeah, I saw a great sarcastic post about that. You know, we came full circle,
Yes,
all the way back around. It's
Yes,
like the number, all the volume on Hyperliquid is now like metals and
yeah,
oil and equities, and not even Bitcoin anymore. So it's,
yeah.
you know, was Bitcoin just a medium to get blockchain incorporated into the major financial systems?
I think so.
Well, everything's going to get tokenized eventually. I
Yeah.
think people that have been around for long enough understand that the power of the of blockchain is the real underlining secret sauce of all of this. Cryptocurrencies have a place in that, but because of the speculative nature when they first came out, and people's ability to print money out of nothing, I think people misconstrued a lot of understanding what this industry is. It's a core technology. You call it Web3 for a reason. The tokens on top of it have limited use case. Those use cases have been blown wildly out of proportion over the last few years because it's been an easy fundraising model. It's been a quick exit liquidity model. And people have been able to speculate and make insane fortunes betting on dog coin and shit coin and ass coin and boob coin.
I like ass coin. Come on.
I like useless coin. I thought useless coin was kind of funny.
There's a lot of good ones, a lot of fun that was had. But anytime there's an opportunity to make money, people are gonna take it to the extremes.
Yeah, but I do think we could also make some of the pre-IPO stuff much more liquid, so people can trade like their shit coins eventually.
Yeah. I mean, we're certainly not done with the tokenization of things. We're certainly not done with they're gonna the IDO model is dead currently. The pre-sale model is dead. They're gonna figure something else out. Like there's gonna be a new way to do speculative gambling on early stage projects.
They'll be the same thing, but they'll just rename it something else.
Yeah. They'll
it's not ICOs or anything anymore. It's like fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, it was ICOs, then it was IEOs, then it was something else, then it was IDOs, then there's these new IMOs, and we've seen the launchpad model turn into the launchpad with what do they call it? The clawback, basically, like zero risk, zero risk investor launch model, which is retarded. So they're going to continue to iterate. I'm sure there's going to be a new trend that comes out. And we'll have another, probably around the beginning of the next bull run in, year and a half.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm excited to see what's going to be trending then and what new ideas people are going to bring to the tables.
Save your nickels and dimes, start stacking up some bags so you can capitalize on whatever the new crazy trend is. In the meantime, make smart bets on quality projects, DCA, make a plan, work your plan. Don't let your emotions rule your trades.
Yes.
If you're not into trading, pick up a second job or fucking flip things at garage sales on the weekends, whatever you got to do, get some money stocked up, because cash, cash is king. Well, if you don't have assets, your cash is going to be worthless. Assets are now king. So whether that's stocks, whether that's crypto, whether that's real estate, you need to find ways to get your hands on some hard assets, and or new revenue streams, revenue producing businesses, passive incomes, whatever that happens to be, because AI is only going to continue to make this whole situation more convoluted and complex for the next couple of years. Yay. So good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
That's about all I got for today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I know 25 people tuned in, not a ton on the live show. We usually get a lot more watches afterward, but actually I'm pretty happy with those numbers despite what's going on right now. You look across CT in general, it's dead. It's a ghost town. So shout out to the 25 homies that are still here, still grinding it out.
Yeah,
still getting there. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is the hardest part of the cycle, where you just gotta chill, let the market do its thing, let the dust settle. You gotta accumulate, some fiat, some, capital, so that you can play. And then when the market conditions do turn, there's usually a decent month or two window. And that's when you got to be really focused, right? So don't feel discouraged. These are typically how markets move, and eventually there will be better days.
Amen to that.
Amen.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stay safe. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some brighter news. Until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.